I don't have a script for this video by whatever means. If you're new here, I know I've taken a long hiatus because I've been busy with a lot of things in my personal life as well. I also do apologize if this is one of those crappy, low quality videos since I do have a since I can't really be since I don't have like proper editing tools at this hour, so I'm gonna get straight to the point. Today obviously is June the 11th, which also means that it's also the start of the World Cup, which some of you may know as the greatest show on earth. Especially if you're me, I'm quite hyped for this tournament. Obviously, it's gonna be bigger than we think because for the first time we're gonna have 48 teams competing, and you may be like, "Oh, this is a lot of games. I can't predict them all." So the best thing I'm gonna do is to predict the tables and where each team's gonna finish and who's gonna win the World Cup in full. I already did some of these whilst I was recording by mistake, so I'm predicting for Group A, Mexico will come up top because they have a pretty decent team if you look at their squad. And the same with South Korea, they're a bit strong as well. I'm not too sure about Czechia. I don't know when it was the last time that they made it to the World Cup, but I think it might be tough for South Africa since it might be a group of death for South Africa since it's only the first times they made it since the World Cup, but anything can happen in football. For Group B, I see Switzerland going up top as well. Canada, of course, coming second. They've made some improvements in football. All seen that they made their first World Cup in Cup qualification last year. Bosnia and Herzegovina, they're alright, I guess. The only shock was making it to the World Cup against Italy, and they're not good at football. Unfortunately, Italy aren't too good anymore. They barely even compete, sadly. But third they are, and the last place is Qatar because, well, obviously not too good. Obviously my first prediction is Brazil. As you all know, they've won 5 World Cups, more than any other country as of now. Second, obviously, is going to be Morocco. They're what we call the dark horses because surprisingly they actually made it to the semi-final of the World Cup last year. That was a pretty big shock. I don't think an African team has ever been this far myself. Obviously, for third, I'm predicting Scotland because we all know the reasons. And then, fortunately, for last place, it's Haiti because this is only their first World Cup in about 52 years. They haven't qualified since 74. So Group C is gonna be Brazil, Morocco, Scotland, and Haiti. Now this one's quite interesting. It's another one of those 3 groups with the main qualifiers: the USA, Paraguay, Australia, and Turkey. Turkey have quite the strongest team out of this squad, in my view, especially if you look at their players. So I'll put Turkey in first. The biggest shock for the USA is even though they're near countries that can compete, like Switzerland, Japan, Uruguay, Senegal, Mexico, Colombia, by a couple of points, they're still not that good at football, the US men's team, unfortunately. There's only been minimal improvements to their games. They kind of fell short against Germany. You can watch it yourself. They only have like one win in one friendly against Senegal. Weirdly, they pulled off a shock win against Uruguay, but that was back in November. So I'm gonna put them in second. Australia, the Socceroos, they haven't really made it. I mean, they always qualify, but they're not. They're not like that compared. They're not that competitive. They rarely make out the group stages. But I think they can do better than Paraguay since Paraguay don't often make it. I don't often see their performances. So check this. Group E. This is gonna be a pretty easy one. Easy one. First things first, we have Germany. Yeah, I can see them up front. No, they always compete other than the last two World Cups. Ecuador, I'll put them in second. They're quite competitive. Except I expect to see one of my personal favourite players like Pierre Hincapié perform. If you're an Arsenal fan like me, for third place, I'm put in Cote d'Ivoire because obviously, but it's a group of death for Curacao. They're pretty much done for. This is not done for. This is their first World Cup in history that's been, but it's one of those countries or overseas territories that's thrown under the radar. So onwards to Group F. This is another one of those group of deaths in my view. The Netherlands, they're so good, but they've never won in their history. Netherlands, Japan might come off as one of those dark horses if you do your research. Sweden are quite good too, but I'm not too sure if you see their performances for the qualifiers. I don't know if Isak will be there or Gyökeres will compete, but I'm expecting. Yeah, as I was saying, it's a group of death for Tunisia. So onwards to Group G. Belgium used to be a powerhouse and they won fire like 6 years ago, but no. As I was saying, I'm expecting. Who am I expecting? Yeah, I'm expecting Iran. I think it might be either Egypt or Iran. And I think I'm gonna go with Iran because they're quite decent. They're more better than Egyptian players like Mohamed Salah, who's aging. This will be his last World Cup. I think Egypt come third, odds New Zealand come fourth. As I was saying, weirdly, I don't expect countries like Curacao or Haiti or New Zealand. Maybe they can perform, but I don't expect them to make it out the group stages because well, never really seen them perform. Maybe Chris Wood can perform for New Zealand, but I'm not too sure at the moment. As I was saying, Group H is a strong group. It's another one of those group of deaths. Spain obviously go first. Uruguay, they're quite good, but not as good as they were before, so second. Saudi Arabia come third and Cape Verde bottom. Again, I don't expect them to perform that much. Maybe they can pull off an upset, but we don't know. Next up is another one of those easy groups. France, they come first. Now, this will be interesting because it's Norway. Norway are one of those dark horse teams, and they have quite a good squad of players. Let me me show you. Normally, Norway have quite a good midfield, especially this guy Odegaard, and especially good forwards like Haaland. I think they might be dark horses as well, so definitely dark horses. So they come second. Senegal, as we all know, they have a good team. They have a pretty decent team, but I think it's another one of those group of deaths for Iraq. Group J is another group of death. No surprise here. I can see Argentina making out on top. Austria second because obviously Algeria come third and Jordan last. Next up we have another one. Might be a group of death again. And can go Portugal up first. This will unfortunately be Cristiano Ronaldo's World Cup. Oh yeah, I forgot to say it's also Messi's last World Cup for the Argentina. Colombia coming second. Uzbekistan, they're another one of those dark horse teams, especially if you look at their defense. I'll show you in a bit. I think Uzbekistan are pretty strong in defense, mostly with players like Kusanov. But that's why I'm going to put them in third, and it's pretty unlucky for the DRC. But they're quite a decent team themselves, and they might put off a shock or an upset. And now Group L. This is a fun one because I'm actually from both these countries. England, I can see them going first and second. It will be interesting seeing England play Ghana because Ghana is where I'm originally from, but England is where I was born and raised. So I'm supporting both teams, as you can tell, but I can see Ghana edging past Panama, really. But unfortunately, we haven't really won any games since October. Not a friendly, nothing. Maybe we've pulled off decent performances against Germany and Wales, but I only see us slightly edging it. I only see us slightly edging it because Panama aren't too good. We've never been out of the group stages since 2010. Now, this is going to be an interesting feature, seeing that 8 of these 3 third place teams here will make it. You can obviously see Sweden, Egypt, Senegal, and let me change. You can obviously see countries like Sweden, Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, and Egypt making it. This next section is going to be quite tough as well. You can see Saudi Arabia maybe doing it as well. I'm not too sure about Czechia or Australia. Let's see. I think Scotland might pull off the shock. Maybe Bosnia and Herzegovina will. I'm not too sure about Edin Dzeko since he's a bit aged out now. Summer pick Scotland going through. And maybe also Uzbekistan, Ghana, yeah. Again, I apologize for the disruption in the background, but this is the best I can do. Obviously, as it's the knockout stages, for the first time we'll have a round of 32, it's going to be easy. I can definitely see South Korea putting it off. I don't see Canada winning against them. Wait. Okay, so again, we apologize for the disruption. So now there's going to be the easy parts, the knockouts. Definitely, if Germany face Scotland, Germany can win that. As for France versus Sweden, that's also an easy fixture. Korea, Canada, again, that's easy. Netherlands versus Morocco. Might be a tough match, but Netherlands, they can go through. Colombia and Croatia may also be a good game, but Croatia. Spain, Austria, definitely Spain. Turkey and Senegal might be another close game, but definitely Senegal can make it. Can definitely see. Turkey might do well, but we'll go with Senegal. As for Belgium and Saudi Arabia, Belgium for this. Now the USA versus Iran. This will be ironic since both countries are at war with each other. So, Iran it is. And then we face Argentina or Uruguay. Definitely Argentina. Portugal or Ghana. Definitely Portugal. We're not that good against the big teams, Ghana. Switzerland or Egypt. Definitely Switzerland for sure, yeah. As for England versus Uzbekistan, definitely Uzbekistan. No, I mean Egypt. I mean England, yeah, England. And Mexico versus Cote d'Ivoire. You can see Mexico pulling through. Ecuador or Norway. Oh, tough match, but I can see Norway making it. Brazil versus Japan. Brazil unfortunately haven't performed. They haven't won it in a little while, but I can see Brazil pulling through. Okay, and that's your round of 6. That's your round of 32 done. Now let's deal with the round of 16. Who's gonna make it? Brazil. Yeah, Brazil. And England. Yeah, I can see England winning. Switzerland or Portugal? Portugal for sure. Then Argentina. Croatia versus Spain. Croatia can pull off an upset, but they're not as good as they were a couple of years ago, so definitely Spain win against Belgium. South Korea or the Netherlands. Definitely the Netherlands. Germany or France. Germany seems to have made some improvement. Germany have made like some improvements, but I can see France putting through. They're quite good. Now I'm gonna do France or the Netherlands. Definitely France. Spain versus Belgium. Definitely Spain. Brazil or England. Maybe England can do it. Yeah. I think England can do it. They might pull off a shock against Brazil. Brazil aren't too good. We have some improved players for England. And Argentina versus Portugal. Last World Cup for both players. Definitely Argentina. As for England versus Argentina, I'm kind of hoping that England can do it, but Argentina, they're too good, especially if you remember the last one. So they make it to the final. And as for France versus Spain, well, definitely France. Now, this is a tough, tight one. I can definitely see Spain doing it. Or France. I can see Spain doing it. They're too strong. As for third place, well, France come third. And the winners of the World Cup, I think it'll be nice to see. I definitely think it's going to be Spain. Yep, so that's my predictions for the World Cup. It's definitely going to be Spain. And as for my final thoughts, yes, I'm aware that there are some controversies, obviously, in relation to things like infrastructure or safety or security or to your violence and all that. Apologies. Now, again, as I was saying, yes, I'm aware that there are some controversies, but the best thing we can do now is to pray for safety and support your own team or your country. That's if you see at least one of them competing or making it. We might win it, you might not. You might be competitive, you might have a bad game, but who knows? That's what football is all about at the end of the day. So, best of luck to all teams, but especially to the ones I'm supporting, England and Ghana. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again probably soon or whenever I feel like it. Cheers. See you around.